Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. Time for supper and another freezer meal. So, I was just talking to Rhoda over at Peace Be Still, and it's getting harder to come up with recipes out of my freezer. I know I have all kinds of meat in there, but it's like, what's next? So, in my pan over here, this is one of my favorite things actually. And I'm going to use some of my frozen onions. And we're going to put it in there. I have some butter in there. Well, we don't want that big chunk to go in there. Trying to use as much as I can out of my freezer and out of the pantry. Most of everything today. Maybe I want a little bit more. If I can break it off. This is not one of Tom's favorites, so I'm doing a couple things to add to it today. And I'm like, will you like it better if it has that? And he's like, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to get those done. I've got a little bit of butter in there. So I'm also going to add, remember these carrots? I've been trying to get rid of these carrots. I'm getting down. So like I say, pay attention to what you got in your fridge too, because you got to make sure you use that stuff up too. You don't want anything going to waste. So I'm just going to chop these into smaller pieces. Not real small, but you know, I don't want a whole carrot there either. Tom took some to work so that he could munch on them at work. And I've been trying to use them up in other stuff too, so I'm getting there. I think it started out with, 3 pounds of carrots. And you wouldn't think 3 pounds is a lot, but when they're little baby carrots like this, that's a lot of carrots. So I think this is going to be great. Alrighty. I'd use up the rest, but I don't think we need that many. That's all that's left. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Put them back in the fridge. Now, my biggest thing out of the fridge today is, I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. We don't need anything burning. But I'm cooking it in butter instead of olive oil because I don't want the olive oil taste in with it. So someone had given me this. It's the equivalent to government cheese. And they gave me 2 of them, and this is the last one I have. And actually it takes up quite a bit of room in the freezer. So I'm going to use that up today. I love this cheese. Honestly, I really do. So I'm going to take my knife here and get me a bowl. And we're going to chop this up into little chunks because it'll melt a lot easier that way. And if you get cheese like that, like I get my shredded cheese or whatever when it's on sale, you can always freeze it. And I don't think that it makes much of a difference to it at all. So if you can get a really good deal on cheese, don't be afraid to stock up on it. Now this has been in the freezer for about a year, so it is breaking up a little bit, but that's okay. It'll still be the same quality, same taste. It'll be fine. Because it's going to melt. I'm going to get that cut into the smaller chunks. I'm sure by now you guys have probably guessed I'm making cream of broccoli soup, cream of broccoli cheesy soup. But there'll be a new addition to it today. Something a little bit different. And it's for Tom, so that's okay. I'm sure I'll like the addition too. His thing is he likes it, but he's not the biggest of broccoli fans. So I'll end up cutting that up into smaller pieces, but he's not as cheesy as I am. He always says that. But then, like, if I do meat and cheese or something, he eats crazy out of it. So it's like, make up your mind. Like his son says, you've got a palate of a 2-year-old, Dad. I think that's so funny when he tells him that. Because it's almost like he's afraid to try something different, you know? And we were talking about that the other day, how I think that sometimes we just say we don't like something because, well, we've been told it might be gross or whatever, and so, you know, we don't try it. All right, let me wash my hands and my board. So I'd gotten a really good deal on these down at the Amish store. 2 for $3. They're cubed ham. But I don't want that ham quite that big. And I think that's a really good deal on it, actually. That's why I bought it. But that's been in the freezer for quite a while now, too. You know what? Actually, I think that'll be fine. So I fibbed. They're really not as big as they look like in that package. So we'll use that. How's that? Dry this off. That was really wet in there. Alright. So now I have my broccoli, which is still mostly frozen because, you know, I'm bad about that stuff. Of getting it out the night before and or I change my mind or whatever, because this was not supposed to be tonight's dinner at all. I'm going to try to do this without a bowl. Alright. So what I'm going to do, while that's still cooking, because I'm going to let that simmer and everything, I have 4 cups of chicken broth that I made up. Because I forgot to have Tom bring me up my broth. So we'll use that. And then we're going to dump that cheese in there. And we're going to kind of just let it simmer and let it start getting melted. I had never tried it with the chicken broth until a couple times ago. And actually, it's really, really good that way. And it kind of goes down a little bit on your taste of the cheese, so it's not so cheesy. I always just added milk. That's how I learned how to make it at a restaurant that I worked here in town. And you just kept adding milk to it. So while we're waiting on that, I won't keep you guys, but I'm going to put salt and pepper in on it. Now, if you want to put different things in, that's completely up to you. You know, if you want to use celery, you could. I do have some frozen celery in my freezer. I could have used some of that too, I guess. I wouldn't add it now because I've already done the, you know, getting the onions all cooked up. So let's bring you over here and show you what it looks like so far. Kind of pretty, huh? All right, I'm going to let that get melted a little bit and then I'll come back. Doesn't that look pretty? I could have probably used the rest of those carrots up. So now I'm going to take that broccoli and the ham and we're going to add it into that soup. And get it all stirred up. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Alright, now I'm going to turn it on low. And I'm going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. so that all the veggies can get finished cooking. So, I think we're going to have one heck of a good dinner. And we're going to use up the rest of that pie tonight too, so should be a really good dinner. Alrighty, so the soup is done. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to try a test. And then I'm going to let it just sit on the stove till Tom's almost here. Then I'll warm it back up. But lately, if I've been leaving the lid on, I haven't had to warm it back up. All right, there we go. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Hands down, my favorite soup ever. It's still cheesy, but not like overpowering. You know what I mean? So we'll see what Tom thinks about it when he gets home. I think he's gonna like it. So, and with the ham in it, that helps too. So we'll be back when Tom gets back. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Cream of broccoli soup.
Mm-hmm. Nate's favorite.
I know, mine too. Not Tom's favorite though, is it?
Natural. This is pretty good though.
What you taking for dinner tomorrow?
Chili.
He's taking some of that frozen chili to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So how's this taste with the chicken broth in it?
Pretty good.
What do you think, Jack?
It's very good. Got a little flavor to it.
Yeah. And not so cheesy either, is it?
Nope.
Alrighty.
Not so broccoli either.
I put carrots in there and some
Ham.
onions and ham. Well, it must not be too bad you ain't put your spoon down yet. All right. You guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing, and goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Tom.
Bye, Jack.
Bye.
You guys have a great night.